I'm not saying that I've put off holiday shopping, but the reality is I have put off holiday shopping and now I'm freaking out.
I have never put off holiday shopping this late in the game, so I'm so glad Uncommon Goods has products that I know my family will love.
Uncommon Goods makes holiday shopping stress-free and joyful with thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts that you cannot find anywhere else. Seriously, I've never seen these gifts before.
You'll discover presents that feel meaningful and personal and never feel rushed or last minute.
Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, from moms to dads to kids to teens, from book lovers and sports fans to foodies, mixologists, and gardeners. You are going to find unforgettable gifts that are absolutely out of the ordinary.
I've been trying to make an effort to gift my partner with jewelry every major holiday, and they have some great solid gold selections that I'm really excited to look through. And I might even get the Stellar Light multicolor sapphire bracelet for myself.
I'm obsessed with the Cheese Lovers jam sampler. Surprisingly, it's not for me, but I'm really excited about it because I get to eat it.
Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US by independent artists and small businesses. Every purchase is a chance to choose something remarkable and feel good about where your money goes.
This right here is why I love Uncommon Goods. With every purchase you make, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3.1 million to date.
So don't wait. Make this holiday the year you give something truly unforgettable. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/BookTok.
That's uncommongoods.com/BookTok. BookTalk for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We are all out of the ordinary. Every holiday season, I am always thrown off by how much money I have to spend, and every holiday season, I really wish I had better saving habits, which I should have learned early.
Acorns Early is the money app and debit card that makes it easy to grow kids' smart money habits. Do for your kids what our parents didn't do for us.
Why didn't they have apps available in the 90s?
Acorns Early lets kids learn by doing. They can earn money with the in-app chores tracker, practice real-life budgeting with automatic allowances, and even set their own savings goals.
I love this because it's not just a card, it's their card with over 35 customized designs to choose from. Plus, kids feel the impact of their spending choices, sparking independence and confidence with every swipe.
And parents get peace of mind too. You don't have to worry about your kid asking for money every time you go out. Now they're going to manage their money. You can set spending limits, send money when you need to, get notifications, and step in if the card is ever lost.
This is such an important thing to learn so early on. Ready to join over 1.2 million parents and kids who've unlocked their kids' potential with Acorns Early?
Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/BookTok or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/BookTok. BookTalk.
Acorns Early Card is issued by NBKC Bank. Member FDIC pursuant to license by Visa USA. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/earlyterms.
I've developed a new morning routine that makes me feel absolutely ready for the day, and it always starts with AG1. AG1 Next Gen is a daily health drink clinically shown to support gut health and fill in common nutrition gaps.
The problem with the holiday season coming up is that I love to eat sugar, and if I'm not careful, that's all I consume. That's why I consume AG1.
With 5 probiotic strains and over 75 vitamins and minerals, AG1 Next Gen replaces the need for multivitamin, probiotics, and more. And it actually tastes good.
What I love about AG1 is that it replaces all the different supplements I would normally take in pill form, and it's so much easier to drink a drink than take 10 pills.
AG1 Next Gen is helping raise the standard because they have so many multiple gold standard clinical trials. And all of that in an industry where not everyone invests heavily in research. They go to great lengths with their rigorous peer-reviewed clinical trials.
What I love about investing in AG1 is that it's flexible and risk-free. I can adjust, update, or cancel my membership at any time. There's also a 90-day money-back guarantee, and it's FSA and HSA eligible via TrueMed.
Head to drinkag1.com/BookTalk to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe.
That's drinkag1.com/BookTalk. BookTalk. Stay one scoop ahead with your AG1. In Rifthold, Chaol and Aedion explore Selena's hidden apartment, discovering a reminder of the girl she once was. Dorian and Sorsha test a way to suppress his volatile magic, but when success sparks a stolen kiss, both realize the danger of what's growing between them. High in the Farian Gap, Manon reforges Abraxos with iron spikes and teeth, but his refusal to fight, or even fly, challenges everything she's been taught about strength. Across the sea, Selena finally masters her Fae form, reveling in her sharpened senses as she and Rowan investigate another gruesome murder. Yet, even in triumph, her dreams drag her back to the haunting memories of her parents. As rebellion brews in the shadows, Chaol and Aedion's alliance with Ren and Murtaugh is tested when they find themselves hunted by the king's secret guard. And far above, Manon's desperate attempt to make Abraxas fly ends in a deadly fall that may just change them both forever. Hey there, we're BookTok for BookTok with Jac and Amy, your book besties who take the novels you love seriously.
This is Jac.
And I'm Amy.
And we bring the tools of literary analysis to the women-written novels lighting up book talk from romance to romantasy. Think of it as your favorite fandom, treated with some respect you'd give a classic in literature class. Just with a bit more humor and a lot less homework, but never no homework.
Each season, we deep dive into one book, breaking down themes, imagery, and character motivations. Together, we combine our 13 years of literary academic training with our fandom love to help you see your favorite books in a whole new way. We also analyze the story through 2 different literary lenses, giving you more than one way to look at the text.
This week, we're discussing chapters 26 through 31 of Sarah J. Maas's third novel in the Throne of Glass series, Heir of Fire.
For a complete list of episodes and the chapter breakdowns, be sure to check out our Instagram at the handle BookTok for BookTok.
Before we dive in, let's talk about Spilt. Spoilers, perspective, interpretation, language, themes.
Spoilers. This episode covers Heir of Fire with full context from the first 3 books, that being Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire. If you haven't read those, this is your only spoiler warning. Anything beyond Heir of Fire and other SJM works will be saved for our Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks episode that airs this Thursday.
Perspective and interpretation. These are just our takes, our personal reading of the text. We don't speak for Sarah J. Maas, and we know you'll have your own interpretations too. We love hearing them, so share away.
Language. We use explicit language, and that is just a given. And you should know that if you've been around long enough.
It's up to you. Themes. We will discuss tough topics like sex, abuse, violence, depression, self-harm, and death. We do our best to flag heavier moments where we can, but listener discretion is advised.
As always, let's keep the conversation going. Tag us, DM us, or use the submission form on our website. And if you want exclusive content and live streams, you'll find us over at patreon.com/BookTok for BookTok.
Can't get enough of analysis? Make sure to check out the Subtext Society Journal, where we write think pieces discussing the romance and romantasy genre as a whole, the ongoing conversations in the bookish community, and insights on the publishing world. You can read our latest article for free with no subscription required. But to receive the new articles in the future, make sure to subscribe, which reminds me, one of the essays I should write is about our experience at Romancing the Craft workshop where we pitched our books.
Oh, excellent point. Want to be published? Head to the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com to submit your article for a chance to be a paid contributor.
Each week we ask ourselves questions, and this week we ask ourselves, our protagonists, Chaol, Dorian, and Selena, are they regrowing or repeating the same patterns?
Themes we see in this section include growth.
I put growth and progression, which is kind of the same thing, but progression of the plot. Oh, that's what I wrote.
Oh, and you removed one of mine, which was disguises.
There wasn't anyone there when I typed it in.
There wasn't?
No.
I thought I wrote disguises. I'm writing disguises now.
Okay, and we're keeping all this in. So you guys got the gist of our themes.
We are in chapter 26, and we start out in Chaol's point of view. And, he hasn't heard from folks in a while. He hasn't heard from folks in a while. I don't know what I was writing.
He hasn't heard from Aedion and co.
That's right. Okay. My brain already questionable.
You guys, we're tired. I woke up from a 2-hour nap, and I'm not the same person I was when I went to sleep. I'm different now.
Chaol uses titles instead of names when he starts out in this chapter. Quote, Chaol hadn't seen or heard from the general or the prince. For me, this adds to a sense of isolation or disassociation that we're starting to get from Chaol's point of view. He feels very adrift, and I think we're going to continue to see that throughout his chapters. Now, he tells himself it's all for a reason. And yes, while it is, it's not true that he's okay with it, which he tries to convince himself of. He's becoming more and more of an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, Chaol also thinks, quote, he hated himself, but some part of him was relieved to hear it. At least Dorian was talking to someone. So that's him kind of being like, oh my God, thank God Dorian is away. He's talking to someone. And that's such a nice way of putting it, because do we think Chaol knows that Dorian's actually talking to someone? Like, do you think he's looking at this and being like, oh, Chaol's with one of the ladies, like the women who work at the castle, one of the healers. They're just talking. No, Chaol knows. Chaol has an idea of what they're doing.
And he's probably like, thank God he's back to his old self.
Kind of, yeah. It goes back to one of my themes.
Going back to the lies that Chaol is telling himself, quote, the rift with Dorian was worth it. For Dorian, even if his friend never forgave him. For Selena, even if she never came back. Even if he wished she were still Selena and not Aelin. It was worth it. Poor baby boy. If he's going to be honest with himself, he's going to break down. So it's just easier to lie to himself.
I wish I had that better mentality. Therapy has taken the lie out of me.
Same. Now, another thing that I think Chaol is lying about, he says he wishes Selena were not Aelin. However, he's investigating the apartment that Selena maintained for herself outside the Assassin's Keep before she went to Endovier. And I think what we're seeing here is a curiosity that shows he still is willing to get to know Aelin. Now, the place is covered in sheets, which has a functional purpose to keep dust off of stuff. And it's something you see, in movies. I don't do that. Who does that? Quote, he could have left the sheets on, probably should have, but he was curious. To me, this feels very symbolic. In a lot of ways, this apartment represents that secret part of Selena that she would access alone, which, who is that if not Aelin? To me, the sheets are a metaphor for Selena, the disguise of Selena, versus the truth of Aelin. And Chaol has only ever known Selena disguised. So for him to be curious about what's under the sheets, to uncover things, to investigate, feels like him trying to uncover who Aelin is, even if he won't admit it to himself. It's a safe way for him to get to know her and see that, oh, she is similar to Selena.
Yeah, it's definitely, SJM's pulling out all the metaphors here, and it's one of those where it's a tad heavy-handed, but perfect. Like, I don't need this to be any kind of faint metaphor. He's pulling back the sheets. He's pulling back the mask. He's discovering who she really is. And that's great. It's also an invasion. Yes, she left him this apartment, but he's also going back invading it. And I'm not saying that what he's doing is wrong. He's uncovering with the intention of wanting to know more. Like, he is removing it, not because, hey, this is my new apartment, I need to move in. He's doing this because he wants to go more into it, to learn more about her. And then he comments about the opulence, that it runs deep in her. And for me, that kind of comes off as a dig. And I think it's also maybe not so much of a dig as from him, and maybe it is, but it also feels like an understanding of, okay, we just aren't the same people.
Yeah. And I think it's also finally an understanding of where those desires come from within Selena. That you can take the girl out of the princess, but you can't take the princess out of the girl.
It's like when every guy discovers that I'm not going to hike for you. The opulence runs deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Chaol thinks about Arobin as he investigates the apartment. And, he knows everyone else has a right to murder the guy first, including Selena/Aelin. But it does not stop him from wanting to do it himself. Quote, it was Selena's right, he told himself. Her right to decide when and how to kill Arobin. It was Aedion's right, too. Even the two lords of Terrasen had more of a claim to Arobin's head than he did. But if Chaol ever saw him, he wasn't sure he would be able to restrain himself. Now, this is why Chaol and even Aedion, which we're going to discover more in a little bit, won't work for Celaena. As much as he loves her, even though he knows better, he still wants to take what is rightfully hers.
Mm-hmm.
And his role as protector is so much more important to him than his role as supporter to Aelin or Celaena.
Yeah. I know who would be the head that you would claim for yourself that I would give. Like, I would want to do it for you, but I also would be like, this is your head. And then do you have one for me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have one for you.
I have one for you. The head for you would be.
Oh, yeah. The head for you would be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay. So I want to continue a little bit more about Chaol thinking about Arobynn, which like I saw online someone do like some fan art of Arobynn and it was set to Taylor Swift's father figure.
Oh.
It was really good.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so quote, her first priority wasn't hunting down her master and cutting him into pieces for what he'd done to her lover, Sam Courtland. I am just finding these little moments. These are, people might be like, Jac, you're nitpicky. What do you think this podcast is? And it's us to be nitpicky. I feel like SJM does little tiny things to age up Aelin, one of which was Aelin abusing alcohol. We had no problem with her drinking it underage, guys. That's okay. It's the abuse of alcohol that kind of ages her up. This one is calling Sam her former lover. He was not her lover. When you say lover, that implies sex. Chaol knows they never had sex. Chaol knows that he was Celaena's first. And rather than saying her first love. And I feel like these are another one of these little moments that SJM takes to age her up.
I think that's so spot on because to say Sam Courtland was her first love is so innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But to say it was her lover feels much more mature.
Yeah, absolutely.
We then switch into Aedion's point of view, and he's becoming reacquainted with Aelin as Celaena in this space because, he hasn't seen her since she was like 8.
I love that the first thing that Aedion notices is this, quote, she decorated the dining table Terrasen's royal colors, green and silver. The table and the stag figurine atop the mantle were the only shreds of proof that she might remember, might care. I love that when we're looking at it through Chaol's point of view, he just sees opulence. And then when we see it through Aedion's point of view, it's a tribute to her home.
Yep. That's what happens with context.
It's crazy.
Amazing. While Aedion is looking around, we get from his point of view, quote, the captain had mentioned her being notorious as an assassin, but he hadn't mentioned that she was rich. All that blood money, all these things, just proof of what she'd lost, what he'd failed to protect. She'd become a killer, a damn good one, if this apartment was any indication. What I love about this quote is that it's very revealing of Aedion's mindset. Now we know that he feels a lot of guilt already about how he didn't protect Aelin, even though he was a teenager. What I like about this is that there is no maliciousness behind his judgment of the space. Mm-hmm. It's actually more respectful and admiration on his part that wow, this little girl who I had to protect has become a force within herself. He sees someone who had to survive and survived well, which is not unlike him.
Mm-hmm.
What ultimately we see, though, is the guilt that, she had to become an assassin because I wasn't there to protect her. So it feeds into his self-hatred.
Yeah.
But what I love is that he doesn't think less of Aelin in the process.
He feels bad. It's like confirmation of the horrible life. Like when Chaol looks at it, he thinks, opulence runs deep. I mean, I added the sigh, but he says opulence runs deep. What Aedion sees is she had to be so good that she was able to become this rich, and that makes him sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. It's an understanding of she wouldn't have all this if she wasn't that good, which means she had to become this killer. And it's such a nice way of looking at it where it's the truth.
Yeah. And it's such a different way of looking at innocence lost, right?
Yeah.
This is innocence lost for Aedion in the fact that she had to become this killer. And while Chaol's more thinking about innocence lost with her former lover who wasn't a lover.
Healing. But, things take a sexual turn because there's a moment when Aedion looks at Celaena's clothes, quote, "These were clothes for a woman's body." And the scent still clinging to the entire apartment belonged to a woman, so similar to what he remembered from childhood, but wrapped in mystery and secret smiles. It was impossible for his face senses not to notice, to react. How are they reacting? What's this is he jerking off in her clothes right now? Is that what's happening? Because what? Why is this so sexual? And SJM just referenced him as her cousin too. Stop. Can we stop? Can we just stop that?
Yeah. It's, I think my note was incesty? ? Even though they are, they're distant cousins, but I keep forgetting that they're distant cousins because of the word cousin.
Okay, it's the same way that technically her and Rowan are distant cousins, but they never say it. And whenever they have, they're like, oh, we're so distant.
Yeah.
This one, he only is ever referenced as her cousin. Chaol thinks of it as her cousin. He thinks of himself as her cousin, her protector. Stop being horny for her. He is so fucking horny for her. You cannot face senses not to notice, to react.
So I think that this is an intentional misdirect from SJM.
Which is okay. Just slightly pull back on the cousin incest factor. That's all I ask. Or lean into it. I don't
know. Yeah. I would lean in, but that's
make him first at this point.
No, we're not going to promote that.
Oh, okay. Hold up, immortal instruments. All right.
No, I know.
I need you to take a step fuck back.
I know.
If you know, you know, guys. If you know, you know. I don't want them to be first cousins. I don't even want him to be referenced as cousins, but it's just they're putting him there as a red herring. It's just an interesting thing that SJM really wants to make this red herring an incest red herring.
It certainly calls into question your morality as a human. And I recognize my deep appreciation for forbidden romance. So there we are.
I thought you was my deep appreciation for cousin loving.
No. The irony that I hate my cousins. Not hate. It's not their fault. I hate their parents.
I love my cousins. They're listening right now. Hey, cousins.
Something that I've talked about both from Aedion's point of view and from Chaol's point of view is the fact that they both feel an obligation to protect her or fight her battles, which comes back up when we switch back into Chaol's point of view. The irony is, though, Chaol knows better than Aedion. So this is Aedion speaking, quote, "She won't be anywhere near those battlefields," Aedion snarled softly. Chaol highly doubted that was true, but wished it was. Aedion would probably have to bind Celaena to her throne to keep her from fighting on the front lines with her people. Again, Chaol gets it, even though his instincts are still that of a protector and his desires are that of a protector. However, he does see how ill-fit Aedion's instincts are when it comes to Celaena/Aelin, but in Aedion's defense, he doesn't know her anymore. It's been 10 years, and Aelin didn't grow up in privilege the way she might have had she still been a princess.
Mm-hmm.
We are reminded of how far Chaol has come. There are brief moments throughout the conversation that I feel like SJM is trying to signal to us how far Chaol has come and how getting to know Celaena has changed him. One example is this quote. When talking to Aedion about why Chaol is betraying his king, Chaol explains, quote, "It is easier to be lied to when you do not know any of those people firsthand. But Celaena with her scars and Nehemia with her people butchered."
I love this quote because it continues also saying, "It's easy to believe when your king tells you that the people in Endovir deserve to be there because they're criminals or rebels who try to slaughter innocent Aderlanian families." Now, the reason why this is a powerful quote between what Amy read and what I just read is one of those moments where I'm like, books are political, people. Think about any kind of national tragedy that, you know, people might roll off like they don't think about it, but then the second it kind of hits home to them, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's different. I'm going to view this differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things that like, it's just, you know, people don't realize it until it might happen to them. It's the way that, you know, when they're trying to make men relate, they're like, it's like your sister or your mother or your wife. And it's like, you know, it shouldn't be that. But sometimes people can't relate until it hits closer to home, which is, again, bullshit. But like, it is what it is sometimes. And it's easy to believe when your king tells you that the people in Dovier deserve it. Oh my God, that is exactly what we're living today, right? That's like every single person who the entire campaign with ICE trying to, you know, get all these innocent people deported, where it's like, it's easy for people to be like, well, no, they're criminals. No, they're fucking not. No, they're not. They're going for everyone. And it's moments like that where I love when books are able to bring real world issues into fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And SJM does this one well.
Mm-hmm.
Now we switch to Dorian's point of view. There's a lot of point of view switching. Sorry, guys. And he's becoming a little rebel. Quote, for that hour, regardless of the laws they were breaking, Dorian felt like himself again. So what we're seeing is when Dorian spends time with Sorsha, he feels like himself. And really what it is he is unburdened by his secrets because Sorsha knows everything. Not only does she know everything, she makes him feel like a man. We have an interesting case of food as power when Dorian consumes treacle to suppress his magic. So treacle is a high source of iron. They've deduced that iron, because it represses magic, if he consumes enough iron and has it in his blood system, then he can suppress his own magic.
Treacle sounds too much like fecal.
Oh, I think treacle tart, which is like super sweet.
Fecal tart.
Ew. It does look like. Never mind. Sorsha tells him, quote, I wonder what would happen if we increase the iron in your diet, perhaps adding a large amount of treacle to your food. We give it to anemic patients, but if we gave you a highly concentrated dose, it would taste awful and could be dangerous, but this does allow Dorian to have power over his magic. And why I point it out is because normally when we talk about food as power we talk about consuming food to give someone power. This is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Dorian is consuming food to not feel victim to his emotions or his reactive magic. So it's giving him power over his magic, even though his magic is a source of power. It's very interesting. I thought it was very clever.
And then she has power over him because she's the one who's feeding him these things. Yeah, the layers of it is really nice. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
They finally figure out a way to suppress his magic, and Dorian's a happy boy. Quote, yes, he breathed and kissed her. It was fast, but her face was flushed and her eyes wide as he pulled back. At first, I was like, it'll be one day I would like to read a scene where the girl's not really into it and the guy doesn't get it. And then I was like thinking about it, and that's just called assault. So I don't want to read that. Mm-hmm. And it is, I don't know. It's only, and I'll say this again later, but it's only okay when they like the person. And you don't know that he doesn't know that she likes him. Because even Dorian realizes too, quote, but maybe she didn't want to be kissed. And I just think it's important to remember consent. Now, I get it. It's cute. I know. But it's just always like, what was it? I'll say this later, but it's like things are only sweet what a guy does. Like, you know, when they're trying to win you over, it's only sweet when you like them.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, it's suddenly creepy.
Yep.
Alrighty. Chapter 27.
We're in the Omega with Manon, and she's a dummy when it comes to understanding emotions. There are so many cases of this, and I'm going to point them out because they're hilarious to me and just reinforce not only the unreliability of Manon on certain topics, but also just how well SJM is crafting this character through the narrative. Quote, for a heartbeat, Manon wondered when she'd ever earned that kind of loyalty. They weren't friends, at least not in the way that humans seem to be friends. So Manon's talking about Astrid, and babe, she's family. She's literally a cousin.
This book loves cousins. And she's not even a cousin that wants to fuck her. She's just loyal.
She's just loyal.
She's just loyal. Yeah, I love the confusion of it, where it's like...
Yeah.
Wait, do they like me?
Yeah, it's like I understand her not understanding love or affection, but her not even understanding loyalty
Yeah.
is interesting.
It also is interesting because she wonders when she's earned the loyalty. She's not questioning loyalty itself.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we know that she's loyal to them, we know she's loyal to her grandmother. But it's this idea of devotion directed towards her that she doesn't understand.
Right. Because she doesn't view herself as lovable.
Exactly. Because being lovable is weak.
Yep.
Like loving flowers.
Oh, poor Abraxos. The holidays throw me off purely because I'm not at work. I lose track of everything.
The number one thing that I lose track of are my nutrients. It is always the first thing to go, which is why I am obsessed with Ritual, especially they're essential for women 18 plus.
Their Essential for Women 18 Plus multi contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day, which means it's gentle on the stomach with a minty essence. And quite frankly, I love that minty essence because there's nothing worse than taking a pill that tastes like crap.
Ritual even conducted a university-led clinical trial for their Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin to assess its efficacy. The results? It increased vitamin D levels by 43%, omega-3 DHA levels by 41% in just 12 weeks.
I honestly need to get my partner on this. She needs both.
We all need it, which is why we have the perfect code for you today.
Our listeners get early access to their Black Friday sale for 40% off your first month at ritual.com/booktalk.
That's ritual.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 40% off your first month. Don't miss out on their best sale this season. I wear glasses every day of the week except weekends, and those become my fun contact days until I'm about to run out, which I am on my last pair of contacts right now. 1-800-CONTACTS has been my go-to for refills with my contacts.
I've known you long enough that you'll go weeks without getting your contacts because of the location. But 1-800-CONTACTS skips the hassle. They offer free and fast shipping on every order.
For over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS has been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service.
They even offer free returns and exchanges, which means you can order confidently. They even offer unbeatable perks like free torn lens replacement. Their best price guarantee means if you find your contacts at a lower price elsewhere, they will beat it. That's a promise you won't find everywhere.
That's seriously why I keep going back to 1-800-CONTACTS. And they have extra discounts for new customers on their site.
Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now.
Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. A good girl. All of that's in his eyes. When I read it, I was like, we all know this moment. We've all been there when a guy's looked at you and has like the most condescending, like just be a good girl type thing. And I love it. I love the moments like this. It makes it so relatable and it makes it so okay that Manon wants to kill them. Loud. They didn't honestly need to do anything. I'd be like, go ahead, Manon. You're my queen.
Do it.
Kill whoever you want.
We are reminded why Manon picks Abraxos when she looks at him. And it's so important because she's going to be so pissed off at him later. So we need this little reminder. Quote, each of the scars, the chipped teeth and broken claws, the mutilated tail, they weren't the markings of a victim. Oh no, they were the trophies of a survivor. Abraxos was a warrior. So like I said, we need a reminder about this before Manon starts bad-mouthing him and calling him a worm for liking flowers. It reminds us how proud she is of his ability to survive. And quite frankly, it's like Manon has survived in spite of her grandmother, who, if you really think about it, her grandmother's a lot like Titus. In some ways, her picking Abraxos not only because they have a connection, it's a clear defiance against her grandmother.
Yeah.
Which is another clue to the things that are going to happen down the road between Manon and her grandmother. Also, what I like about this moment, it's also a clear comment to the reader about Aelin.
Mm-hmm. Talk me through it.
Well, to me, it's another tying the metaphor of Manon and Aelin being similar or being mirrors of each other. Because if Abraxos and Manon are the same, having scars, they're mutilated, they're not victims, they're survivors, and these are trophies that should be like relished.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you could say that about Manon and Abraxos, you can say that as well about Aelin.
Okay.
Because you're the one who keeps connecting the two.
I just needed the line. You said two things. Give me the string.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, maybe you should have just read my mind, but then we wouldn't have a podcast.
No, but we'd have a great conversation.
Another thing Manon thinks about Abraxos, quote, Abraxos had somehow been born different, smaller, but smarter. Or perhaps the others didn't ever need to think. Cared for and trained, they did what they were told. But Abraxos had learned to survive, and perhaps that had opened his mind. He could understand her words, her expressions. So again, like Manon, who is different, she has pure gold eyes instead of black with gold flecks. She's not a sheep. She's smarter than the rest of the witches. Manon and Abraxos are the same, and you can say the same about Selena/Aelin. If she had been cared for and trained like a princess would have, she would have done what she was told. She would have never learned to survive.
I love this moment when Manon approaches Abraxos. She thinks, quote, Manon took 3 steps beyond it. 1 for each face of their goddess, maiden, mother, crone. You would never get Manon saying that she said a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you will never get her being like, Manon hesitated praying that she would be okay, because that would show weakness.
Yeah.
Instead, each step is for each of the face of the goddess, which is her version of praying.
I didn't even think of that. That's so powerful.
I love it. It's SJM. Her talent comes out with Manon.
Yeah.
So she tells Toothless, at this point, he is Toothless to me, especially when in the flower fields. My notes are just calling him Toothless. And she tells Abraxos that they're going to rebuild him. Quote, I'm going to build some for you, iron ones. Like she's talking about like teeth, like mine, she said, flashed her iron nails. Okay, hold on. So she talks about what they're going to rebuild for him, both the spikes on his back, and she makes some comparisons. So I'm going to build some for you. Iron ones like mine, she said, and flashed her iron nails for him to see. And fangs, too, she added, baring her iron teeth. It's really beautiful because she's showing him strength in it, saying like, hey, you're going to be rebuilt, but not just that, you're going to be like me. We already have a connection. We're going to be even more connected. You are going to be as much of a scary monster as I, which I'm like, no, you're all just adorable. And there's this other moment that she has with him. Quote, once all that is done, she said, smiling faintly at her wyvern, you and I are going to learn how to fly, and then we'll stain this kingdom red. And I think it's interesting because 1, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we actually get her smiling in this whole book. And 2, it's not at the idea of violence. It's not saying she smiled at the idea of bloodshed. It's she smiled at her wyvern. Yeah. It's an ownership. This is the first time she's owned anything. This is the first time she's smiled at anything. So it really says a lot here with just subtle word choices.
Yeah. And again, this is SJM flexing her writing muscles with Manon, because all forms of kindness are disguised as violence, because that's all Manon knows and is allowed to like about herself or the world.
Yeah.
And we see it here. She doesn't have to invest in this bait beast. She doesn't have to give it iron teeth and spikes. Like she could go pick another mount, but she's invested, and she justifies her kindness to him, especially while all this iron stuff is being, like veneers are being put into him and he's in pain. Quote, She told the stories as much to distract him as she did to remind the men that if they made a mistake, if they hurt him, her retribution would be a long, bloody process. Not one of them made an error. She can't admit that she cares about Abraxos and she wants to make sure he doesn't get hurt.
Well, because that would mean she would care about herself. Because if they are the same, Abraxos gets the treatment she never did. She probably didn't have someone there talking her through it when she was getting all this scary, painful work done on her. She didn't have someone there telling her, hey, you're going to do great things. She's treating Abraxos the way that I'm sure she wanted her younger self to be treated.
Yeah. Abraxos is her inner child.
It's healing her.
It is. Take a sip.
Take a sip.
This is the part of the story where the Fae magic pauses for capitalism. I went to a holiday get-together at work today, and we were all comparing our walkable shoes that we wear to work now instead of heels. And let me tell you, my Walk Slim glides from Vionic were the stylish shoes out of the group.
Oh my God, I keep getting compliments on my Uptown loafers from Vionic, and that's for a reason. Vionic has the best essential styles for everyday wear that you get to wear for every season. Right now, it's loafer season. The Uptown loafer folds flat, which is making my pre-holiday packing so much easier. I did a dry run, and they do in fact fit.
Vionic also has exclusive VioMotion technology, and that's what sets their shoes apart. They began by revolutionizing medical orthotics, and today they continue to use that science to engineer their shoes. These are the only shoes I wear where I don't put my own custom orthotics in them, because these shoes don't need them.
Vionic is so confident that you're going to love them that they offer a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return them for a full refund within 30 days.
Get your own Vionics now using code BookTok at checkout for 15% off your entire order at vionicshoes.com when you log into your account. It's a one-time use only, so be sure to stock up.
That's code BookTalk, BookTalk, to get 15% off your entire order. One-time use only. Stock up on those holiday presents.
Vionic shoes. Wearable well-being for your feet.
My favorite part about the holidays isn't the holidays, it's the linen sheets that I get to switch into. Because it makes it cozy.
You are such a sheets girl.
I am, and Wayfair makes it so easy because they have the best holiday sheets and honestly, all of the best holiday decor.
Wayfair is the place to shop for all things home, and you honestly know you're an adult when you start getting home things for holiday gifts.
You also know you're an adult when you buy from Wayfair and you just scroll through their website like it's just a fun social media thing to do. Most of my things in my room are from Wayfair.
And guess what? They have up to 70% off during their Black Friday sale. Starting October 30th, you can shop Wayfair's can't miss Black Friday deals all month long.
Wayfair is the go-to destination for everything home, no matter your style. Earn rewards and get the best savings in the neighborhood with Wayfair's new loyalty program. You get 5% back on every item across Wayfair's family of brands, free shipping, members-only sales, and more. Terms apply.
Wayfair makes it easy with fast and free shipping, even on the big stuff. Let me tell you, I've gotten a desk within 2 days.
Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday deals for up to 70% off.
That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. The thing about Los Angeles fall is I need a sweater in the morning. And because I go to work every day, it needs to be stylish.
And Quince has got your back, Amy, because they are able to provide those sweaters and outerwear and everyday essentials that help you feel luxurious, but it's also timeless. And you are a sucker for timeless fashion.
100%. If I invest my money, I don't want to have to spend it again for a long time. That's why I buy their $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters, because they're made not only for the workday, but the everyday.
Honestly, I've been eyeing Quince's Italian wool coats, and I've never had a wool coat. but I think it's time. I think I'm ready to upgrade my life to a wool coat. And it's great because with Quince, the cut feels designer and the quality really rivals high-end brands, but without that insane markup.
That's because they work directly with ethical, top-tier factories, and they skip the middleman to offer prices 50% less than similar brands.
One of my all-time favorite sweaters that I got last year was their boyfriend fit sweater. I keep that in my car because that is my, oh no, I forgot to bring something favorite sweater that I know I'm going to look good and works with every outfit.
So step into the holiday season with layers made to feel good, look polished, and last from Quince.
Perfect for gifting or keeping for yourself. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. And they're now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/booktalk.
We move into chapter 28, and we are back in Wendlyn, and Rowan flirts like little boys on the playground. So Rowan is trying to antagonize Aelin or Celaena. I'm starting to mix them up because we're starting to dive into Aelin territory.
Agreed. It's interchangeable now.
Yeah. So Rowan's starting to antagonize Celaena/Aelin into shifting into her fae form and, harness your anger. That's what works for you. Quote, he gave her braid a sharp, painful tug. Unless you're still frightened. He's patronizing, he's bullying, and he's forceful, violent for no purpose other than because it entertains him. Like, he could have just left it at harness your anger.
Yeah. I didn't even see your note with the playground one, but because I wrote, I'm like, this is just like what people are going to say, that this is what boys do when they like you. And that's a bullshit thing to teach girls, because we're teaching them young that if a boy harasses you, hits you, gives you any kind of shit, it's because he likes you. So It's just like, it's one of those things that just continues. And I'm not blaming SJM. I blame society.
Yeah. Yeah, because we normalize it.
I mean, I was told that.
Oh, yeah, I was too.
Oh, he's doing it because he likes you. And my mom would be like, and what? This is a true story. I was like, Mom, this boy was mean to me. He was chasing me. He was poking me. And she was like, oh, that's because he probably likes you. What did you do to him? I pushed him down and sat on his back.
See, that's the thing, too. I fought back.
Yeah.
And because I was told that's because he likes you, I started being violent to people I liked. I started hitting people over the head with books. Like in the 4th grade, 5th grade, I remember liking somebody and being violent because that's what I was taught.
I did not. The only person I'm violent against is you.
Because you love me.
So Look, I never said I'm above the problem, guys. I'm just pointing out the problem. Yeah. So let's not teach that. It's the same way that I flat out refuse that when I have kids and daughters or any young child or young girl, I refuse for young girls to be told they're bossy, because boys are never told they're bossy. You just have young female leaders. Harness it. Don't shame them for it.
Yep.
It's like, you're bossy. Let me give you some weaponized. Let's weaponize it. How do we make you a better leader? We get another Arabin mention. This time it's going to be from Celaena's point of view, and we see how much he really screwed her up. Quote, Arabin had done everything he could to make her hate her heritage, to fear it, what he'd done to her, what she allowed herself to become. It makes me sad because there's that note of what she allowed herself to become. Babe, he got you when you were 8. You were raised with that self-hatred. There's nothing you could have done. You're conquering it now. Be kind to yourself. And it's just another man teaching women how to hate themselves, just like every male fashion designer in the 90s. And honestly, even today.
Every commercial catered to women is, you hate yourself. Let me give you the magical cure-all for how you hate yourself.
I'm going to rephrase what you said. Every commercial directed to women is catered to men who hate women.
Oh, I like that. It is, but it's true.
It's true. I mean, get me talking about the fashion industry and I can go on a very large rant about how it comes down from a point of view of dislike and hatred towards women. It doesn't matter if it's a male fashion designer or a female fashion designer. I mean, fashion designers were originally men that, it's essentially built towards making female bodies to look more masculine and androgynous. Also, a lot of the fashion designs. That's like when you have a lot of the supermodels, right? Like they're so skinny that they don't have those quote unquote feminine curves. I know not every woman has those curves, but like, they specifically look for more androgynous, curveless bodies, which in my humble opinion, takes it to be more mimicking of young boys instead. Prove me wrong. I mean, and I'm not saying that's like for every fashion. I'm just kind of thinking about like high fashion,
especially the 90s.
Yeah. And that's like, and remember guys, if someone's like younger than me and saying like, Jac, you're overreacting. All right. Heroin chic was a phrase that we grew up with.
Yeah. I mean, look at Kate Moss in the 90s. I idolized her.
You drew a painting of her.
Most of my paintings from high school are of Kate Moss.
It was there are gorgeous paintings.
But like we idolized malnutrition.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I kind of get it because I'm just trying to nutrition and it's hard. Guys, all I think about all day is how much fiber and protein I'm getting in a day. And it's really hard. Maybe malnutrition is the way. I don't know.
No, don't say that.
It's just like I count so much and I never hit my goals.
You look very sad. I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking about all the fiber I need to like throw down now later today. My tummy's going to hurt so much later. My doctor said I need more fiber for heart stuff.
No,
I love how I'm like throwing out heart stuff. I just don't want people to think I have like bowel issues, which is fine.
Well, I do.
I know. The IBS women stand strong.
Okay. Now, just like you guys got to know Jac and I, Rowan and Selena have recently spent some time getting to know each other. And that's how Rowan has finally begun to understand how to teach Selena because, you know what? She's fueled by anger. Quote, "Let it be a blade, Aelin. If you cannot find the peace, then at least hone the anger that guides you to the shift. Embrace it and control it. It is not your enemy." Which honestly, probably not sound advice. Definitely requires therapy, but it is the one language both Rowan and Aelin understand. That is anger and violence. They are finally speaking the same language.
I thought it was great advice. I was like, yeah, but I speak violence, so that's fair. I too am a weapon to be honed. So, sometimes you only understand it when you're one of them.
Your wit is a weapon to be honed.
It's deadly.
You are very fast. It is deadly.
Thank you.
Now, again, with the challenged, the lacking flirting. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but the flirting that I would not want to receive. Quote, "A fierce, challenging grin, and Rowan moved so fast she could hardly follow as he appeared on her other side and yanked on her braid again. When she whirled, he was already gone, and she yelped as he pinched her side. Stop!" Just saying he's a terrible flirt. And honestly, it might be the most fun Rowan's had in years. And Selena loves it because she's the center of attention. Because maybe they see something in each other that they identify with. And quite frankly, I think Rowan is having fun right now because he feels like maybe for the first time around Selena, he can be himself. Now, I know that SJM has to keep their relationship moving, but it's either it's been too long since we recorded episode 4 or this is disconnected.
No, it's true. It's true. Both things can be true. That's the fault of an author who chooses too many point of views. And it's going to be an issue that we're going to have from here on out. And it's only going to get worse as we have more point of views. I know that this is like a fantastic series that SJM built. And I feel like she shoots herself in the foot so much with this, with how many point of views that she starts juggling in storylines, because it is a disconnect. It is like weren't you just smiling for the first time? And now we're doing this. And like Rowan's like now playing with you and flirting with you. And, at one point they start running and he's like they kind of go into like chase animal play where I was like, ooh, chase her in the woods. Get her, So people, I even have this as a note. So people don't think I'm heartless. I do enjoy this. I like the flirting. Like in case someone was like, Jac was a straight up bitch, you can't enjoy anything. I think it's cute that he's like pulling her braids. And I'm the problem too. I don't want anyone to think I'm above this. Like, I think it's adorable that he's like pinching her and she's like getting annoyed and he's pulling her braid and they're flirting. Like, it's fucking cute.
Yeah.
I can't handle this flirting mainly because I don't run.
It reminds me of every boy who knew that I jump scared easily and would touch my sides, sneak up behind me in the cafeteria at school and touch my sides. And I would literally fall out of my chair. My chair would fall behind, like scoop behind me, and I'd fall on my ass. No wonder why I thought these guys liked me.
Are you saying your sides are very ticklish? This is a piece of key information you have held back for over 15 years with me. You guys, I wish you could see the video to this because Amy is kicking herself so much.
I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad.
I know for a fact you're probably keeping this away from me.
Do you see how the vein is bulging in my forehead?
Like, you're already reacting at the idea of me going for your sides. I haven't done it yet. You're already breaking down. Amy's wiping her eyes right now with tears.
It's not coming out my nose. Okay, but really, if you touch my sides, I will kick you.
Like, that's fine.
I get super violent when people touch my sides because I'm so sensitive.
I won't. I'll use it sparingly, I promise.
Damn it.
And look, I accept any reaction. You have warned me accordingly. I will not hold you into any kind of accountability.
If I turn him into Manon, you know now that's what awaits you.
So fucking funny that you've held this in for 15 years. You've held this in and you haven't told me. I could see the reality crumble in your eyes. Bit by bit of like the hellhole you have just opened up
for myself.
No, it's so funny. You guys don't even realize, like, very much in public, I will get a running start to slap Amy's ass. Like, it will echo, and I don't care where. Honestly, it happens more in public than we're hanging out at the gym. At the mall, like, I will get
at Disneyland.
At Disneyland, I'll get a running start and I'll get a good. There's been some very painful ones that I've gotten in there.
Yeah.
The trauma.
The sound still reverberates in my ears.
There was been a couple where my hand hurt.
I got a rock solid ass, is what we're saying.
We squat for that ass.
Oh, where were we?
Like Rowan, Selena's feeling unleashed.
Yes, we are there. So Selena, in her Fae form, feels unleashed and is able to feel something more than apathy or depression for the first time in a long time. Quote, "She could have flown, could have soared for the sudden surge of ecstasy in her blood, the sheer freedom granted by the marvel of creation that was her body. Control makes her feel like she's in power, and she's finally able to control her shift and her Fae body. And quite frankly, she's also able to repress her magic. And so she's finally able to feel the positive things because of that power and control." I also remember I wanted to go back and say something you said about the multiple POVs. Just from a writing perspective, you have to make every scene count.
Yeah.
And when you're in one POV, you have more scenes to work with.
Yeah.
And so I understand why this is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
But after reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is mostly one point of view, actually I'm so good at the little buildup.
Yeah.
That she doesn't get that in this book.
When Farah goes to do things that in case someone's listening to this and they haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses, but the choices that Farah makes at the end isn't out of character or out of line based on every little step that we made. She's just so good at nuance, and we're missing so much of the nuance.
Yeah.
And I think what's also hard is that in comparison to like Manon, her emotional journey isn't as significant as Selena's emotional journey. Like, there's a lot of growth that she's doing, but it's not like she's coming off of the precipice of a huge breakdown. You know what I mean? Like, not the way that Celaena is. And then falling in love with this guy. Like, Celaena, like, SJM just set up 2 books of shit for Celaena to have to deal with. The death of a friend, the, betrayal of a former lover, right? Like, having to come to this country, all these things. This is not the moment that you
rob her of her point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
So as we're here, we have to embrace it. Now we're in this cute flirting phase here. Quote, Rowan raced beside her, but he made no move to grab her. No, Rowan was playing. He threw a glance at her, breathing hard but evenly. And it might have been the sun through the canopy, but she could have sworn that she saw his eyes alight with a glimmer of that same feral contentment. She could have sworn he was smiling. Again, it's cute. I get it. Can't relate. It's running. Not my feral contentment, but it also is, we've seen a lot of imagery when it comes to gold, when it comes to light, when it comes to mates in all of SJM's work. There was even a moment earlier in the series in Throne of Glass where there was like gold light shown on blood. And it was just kind of like a disconnect showing that Chaol was not, the golden light. Mm-hmm. And we're getting that moment here that Rowan has that glimmer, the sun, that golden light that's coming through. And again, chase play, be kinky play. For the first time, though, we are also seeing Celaena make some progress when it comes to her grief. Quote, it wouldn't have made a difference. Nehemia had orchestrated every step in her own destruction and would have found another way. She had only done it because Celaena refused to help, refused to act. Having this glorious Fae body changed nothing. So at this point, Celaena was like, maybe if I was in my Fae form, I would have chosen to go to, I would have been able to reach Nehemia in time. And it's somewhere between just like accepting that Nehemia orchestrated it, like that was her call. But then she also kind of puts blame on herself of saying like, because I refused to help. And it's like, well, call me crazy. I think there's still steps between I don't want to help and committing your own death, like, orchestrating your own death. There's a few in between moments that Nehemia bypassed completely.
Yeah. Yep.
And it is nice to see that there is some growth. And you can also see how Rowan is shaping that. Look, guys, I'm nice.
We might get more nice moments.
We might, and I can appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it is important for Celaena's emotional connection or Aelin's emotional connection to Rowan to justify why they are the couple that they end up being.
Yeah.
You need to have these moments.
I think it also, though, really shows, because we don't have enough screen time with them, Rowan himself is the disconnect, right? Like we go from this stern guy to like, we have this guy who's kind of smiling, kind of funny, but we're only getting interpretations of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Could have sworn he was smiling, could have sworn these things. It was almost like he was playing. It's like we're only getting these glimpses. And like, if we want to build his character up more, we needed a lot more of these moments for me personally.
I completely agree. I was kicking myself every time I used could have sworn in my own writing during my recent revisions.
Did you use it a lot?
No, I think I used it a couple times though.
I think I've used it once and I've done a variation of it. And I'm trying to purposely use it for like, because it's actually happening. But that's the same way that SJM is doing it, right?
Right.
Whenever she says someone could have sworn, that's like what it is happening.
What it is. Yeah.
What it is.
What it is. Now, unlike Rowan and Celaena, the humans don't speak the language of power and violence. So when Celaena shows up in her Fae form to the village, quote, Celaena had given up on flirting with a pock-faced stable boy at the inn, who had just gawked at her ears and canines as though she were one heartbeat away from eating him alive. Well, when you show up like something that's only ever been violent to a human, maybe they don't want to be around you. And what I find interesting about this is Celaena doesn't even think about it. Like, maybe I should be human again when I approach these humans. And that to me is SJM trying to signal that Celaena is becoming more Fae. She's becoming more like Rowan and those like him, which is why Rowan's able to connect with her. She's losing touch with her humanity. And it's not until she begins thinking like a human again that she's able to get what she needs from them, aka she spends money on their wares.
Yeah. And this is just another weapon in her arsenal that isn't working, right? Because she's trying to flirt with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that this is the realization that she's like, I need to be human because my normal weapon of using my sexuality, of being able to flirt, isn't working.
Yeah.
And that is what makes her going back into like, okay, well, how do I win people over? But it's just, I love that the moment that it clicks for her is like, you mean my flirting's not working?
I'm beautiful. I'm even more beautiful.
I know. Look at my ears. They be pointy. Celaena is also picking up on subtext from Rowan when he's talking about Maeve. Quote, a lot of Fae who ventured into mortal lands have earned themselves a reputation for taking what they want. It went unchecked for too many years. And even though our laws are stricter now, the fear remains. I do like the balance between that neither the Fae or humans are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a reason why humans fear the Fae, and there's a reason why the Fae resent the humans, like the King of Aderlin. So I think it's fair to say that the Fae are probably, I don't know, I was about to say the Fae are a little bit worse, but the King of Aderlin is straight up committing genocide. But spoiler for the next sentence I'm about to say, the king's not human.
Right.
Okay. We get this other quote, and this is Rowan just kind of like going on his little monologue talking about Maeve. And he says, quote, it is an honor to be a warrior serving in her inner circle. Celaena hadn't suggested otherwise, but she wondered why he felt the need to add it. We're starting to see cracks in the loyalty, but I ask us, reader, kind listener, are we seeing cracks in his loyalty for the first time, or is Celaena just paying attention for the first time? I know this is the first time that we ourselves are reading it, but again, we're reading it from Celaena's point of view.
Right.
And I think to me, if anything, this is just another indicator of showing that she's getting out of her funk more, that she's able to pick up on these clues.
Yep.
I also feel like we're getting more healthy moments on how Celaena remembers Nehemia. Quote, over her rotting corpse, was she going to let these people get away with shutting curtains in her face or letting them think that she was here to plunder? Nehemia had never once let the preening, bigoted idiots in Rifthold shut her out of any store. And she had the sense that her friend might have been proud of her the way she went from shop to shop that afternoon, head held high, and charmed the ever-living hell out of those villagers. Now, I think it's one of those moments that's fair. I know we shit on Nehemia a lot, but Nehemia didn't let bigotry stop her. She did push forward. She had her own agenda to work, but like she didn't let anything stop her. And I think that's a good moment, like when you go kind of take tally on the people who've passed and you're kind of like remembering them. Yeah, remember the great moments. But I also appreciate the understanding of a dollar and the power of capitalism.
Yep, because that's the world we live in. Now, after this, we end up in Celaena's memories, and we see how much she thinks of her power and her status as heir as a burden through these memories. For example, we see from her 8-year-old self how people perceive her and want to use her, and how Aelin is aware of this. Quote, to them, she was the heir to 2 mighty bloodlines and to a tremendous power that would keep them safe and raise their kingdom to even greater heights. A power that was a gift or a weapon. I will say a lot about this in the breadcrumbs, so I won't go into it now. But at 8 years old, she recognizes how people want to use her and that she's a weapon.
Yeah, I love this moment. I mean, I forgot about this moment, so I kind of want to go back and correct something that I had said in a previous episode where I said that Manon was born to be a weapon while Celaena was made into one. And happy to say I'm wrong. And because it means there's more parallels between her and Manon. Aelin was born to be a weapon.
Yep. Now, her mother, Aelin's mother, also knows that Aelin is something to possess. Not just that she's a weapon, but she is something that people will fight for to own. And Evelyn says, quote, this is because she's going to be hunted, Ro. For her whole life, Maeve and others will hunt her for this power. What 8-year-old Aelin also knows is that she's different and it makes her unapproachable because of the power she holds. And it isolates her, quote, but the few children who lived in the castle kept away, despite their parents' urging. Like dogs, she'd sometimes thought, the others could smell her differences. Now, this is interesting from a Marxist lens that she comforts herself by viewing these other children who shun her like dogs. They're not humans. They're basic animals. But it's because they're at odds with her, right? They avoid her despite the political gains that their parents see. Later in this memory, when Aelin talks to her father, she also thinks about how he doesn't want to be king.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an interesting point too, which I will talk more about when we get there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this flashback scene. It was the first grounding moment, and I forgot how powerful it was, where we got to see Aelin. Like, this was the first time we get Aelin. And we also have this other moment because Aedion makes an appearance, quote, "Neither of them took well to being separated. The last time one of the castle boys had teased him for it, Aedion had spent a month shoveling horse dung for beating the boy into a pulp. Stop making him a fucking love interest."
Yeah.
It's sweet. It's sweet.
But
he's also 5 years older. Okay, so if this
8.
is 8.
He's 13.
Stop making him a love interest.
Yeah. I was like, why are you looking at me like that? What did I do wrong? There's a delay on your end.
It's sweet. It's sweet. It wouldn't have lost the sweetness when he was jerking off into her clothes.
Oh, gosh. That visual.
He used her underwear.
Stop.
Around his...
No, stop it.
Okay.
Children.
Not
There
a
could
single
be
child
children.
is listening to this. And if they are, that's not on us. Okay.
Now, like Jac said, it's sweet. We're learning more about Aedion and Aelin's relationship as children. But it's another instance where I think SJM is trying to fool us into thinking that these two might just be mates and justify that incestiness of their love for one another. Quote, "She knew he meant it. He'd burn the library, the city, or the whole world to ashes if she asked him. It was their bond, marked by blood and scent, and something else she couldn't place. A tether as strong as the one that bound her to her parents. Stronger, even."
I just like how, like, right now, Aedion really is the only one to have had that sentiment of "I will burn the whole world down for her" type thing. Like, that is such a trope that we get. And, you know, you're going to have to really convince me that he's not in love with her throughout the end of this book, of the series, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's in love with her right now, right? Can we just agree?
Oh, yeah. And it has all the hallmarks of a mating bond.
I mean, because especially when it's like a 13-year-old to an 8-year-old. I mean, I would no chance in hell. That's I'm like, we separate the cousins, please. This is weird now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now, when in her memory, Ro, her father, tucks Aelin into bed, she thinks about how much her father doesn't want to be king. Quote, "A warrior prince," she heard people call him, "who would one day make a mighty king." She sometimes thought her father had no interest in being king, especially on days when he took her up into the Staghorns and let her wander through Oakwold in search of the Lord of the Forest. He never seemed happier than at those times and always seemed a little sad to go back to Orinth. Sounds a lot like Selena, who's connected to nature. She's at her heart a lover, not a fighter. She wanted to be a healer. And, you know, when I was reading this, I had to ask myself the question, do the similarities of Aelin and her father, both not wanting to be royal, to have power, to have to lead, explain why Aelin is more drawn to male companions than female friendship? Because she identifies more with her father than her mother, especially in this scene.
Yeah. There's some psychology there that I really like what you did. And I think there's going to be a lot to look into of how much does she resent her mom more? Because her mom is kind of like the one freaking out here and holding her back from having friends.
Yeah.
And even though her dad is the one that's like, maybe do we send her to magic school? And she's like, no, let's not do that. But I like that a lot. We're gonna have to process that.
Her mom is always the one whispering, right?
Yeah.
To her father. And I feel like it builds this inherent mistrust of women.
Yeah.
In Aelin.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're onto something. I also think that this is the beginning of her guilt, because she says as a child that she doesn't want to be queen. And I think that's kind of one, like when she looks back, she'll be like, I didn't want to be queen. It's like, you were 8. You also didn't want to go to bed.
Yeah. We don't want a lot of things when we're 8. We don't want to eat our peas or broccoli.
I get that.
Take a sip.
Take a sip. Take your shoes off. Do you know what I just sang?
Yeah. House tour.
Good job. You were so not interested in answering that.
No, I was really proud of myself. I
should have known you were trying to act cool.
We are now in chapter 29, and we're going to see 3 instances of what I call quote unquote vices being used to disguise something important. And we're going to start with Dorian. With Sorsha, Dorian's iron supplement, the treacle that he now has to ingest on a regular basis, is disguised as, quote, a daily contraceptive tonic, because no one would bat an eye at that, not with his reputation. So they're weaponizing his past, his fuckboyness, the negative perceptions of him, to disguise the fact that he's actually taking a supplement to suppress his magic, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, from Sorsha's point of view, Dorian's reputation is earned. You know, she's heard all about it. She's seen him flirting. And she views him as a predator, but she's into it. Quote, he came toward her, but there was something in his gait, a kind of prowl that made her straighten, especially as he set down the glass and stared at her long and deep. The power and predatorness and sex are all intertwined, and Sorsha's but a lamb.
Yeah.
She wants to be consumed.
Oh boy, don't I get that. This is another fault of hopping point of views and not having time, because the last time we were with them, we were in Dorian's point of view. And the very last thing he said was, what if she didn't want to be kissed? That's the last time we saw him, is this realization of, oh shit, maybe she didn't want this. And now he's prowling towards her like a predator. I feel like there was something that was deleted. I feel like there was a scene that we missed. I feel like there might not have been an understanding of point A to point C. It just feels very predatory to go from, maybe she didn't want to be kissed, to literally prowling.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can also see maybe from like an editing perspective, they felt the need to put it in Dorian's point of view earlier because he respects her when she does pull away. And we have to know that he's capable of thinking that she is not into him.
But then it comes down to, well, why are you initiating this as a predator then? You know, like know. It's one of those things where, but it kind of goes into the question that I wrote for this week, where it's like, are we progressing, or are we like going back to some old ways? Because this really feels like going back to some old ways. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's treating his attention as a reward for his gratitude. She's doing something for him. She's helping him. And her reward is his attention and his lust and everything.
It's such a male thing.
It really is. Over the years, I'm happy. I'm proud of myself that in my 20s where I'm like, this, like, am I supposed to be happy? Yeah. Anyway, so there's this moment here, quote, what? She breathed, backing up a step. He gripped her hand, not hard enough to hurt, but enough to stop her retreat. That's not okay either. You know, like, she's into it. And it's like, we know that she's into it. We're into it. This is all sexy. Yes, I get it. But he's holding on to her so that, you know, that she could not retreat. It's only attractive when we like the characters. That's the thing. It's only attractive when we like them, when we're into it, when we're into them. You know, consent should be sexy. Mm-hmm. It should just be sexy. Like, I want to adjust that. But based on her actions alone, he should be jumping out and backing away. Quote, she was burning up from the inside out, and she pulled back hard enough that he let go. He should be freaking out. And you can argue that once she runs away and he opens the door and like he looks all miserable and he's like feeling guilty, sure, but it shouldn't have even gotten to that point. That's just my point of view. Women should feel more comfortable. What if she had a traumatic experience in the past? This wouldn't be okay.
It's fair.
What if this would have been a trauma response?
Yeah. All true.
Mm-hmm.
All true. Now you've bummed me out. But it's true.
A house tour. I can take you to the first, second, third floor.
I need to take a sip before I continue because I'm about to speak for a lot.
Take a sip. Take a sip.
Take a sip. We're switching point of views, and Chaol goes to meet with Wren and Murtaugh to learn more about magic and the history of the day that magic disappeared. And we start with this, quote, "It had taken longer than he had anticipated before Wren and Murtaugh were finally ready to meet him. Their first encounter since that night in the slums. Chaol had to wait for his next night off, Aedion had to find a secure location, and then they had to coordinate with the two lords from Terrasen. I don't know that it was meant to read this way, but it feels a little bit like a power move on the part of Wren and Murtaugh. You know, Chaol's been the enemy for a long time. They've had friends killed because they captured Chaol. So, you know, it feels like a power move for them to test him to see if he's willing to wait. Now, Chaol's point of view, even though he's been able to make associations in a previous chapter that shows empathy since he's built a connection with Celaena and Nehemia, there is still something about his point of view that lacks empathy for those who suffer, because we see everything through the lens of him being a protector and a guard. Quote, "The walk through the crooked and dark streets had been harrowing. Such poverty and despair and desperation. It made people dangerous, willing to risk anything to scratch out another day of living." That's not very empathetic to me.
No.
Maybe think about like, wow, our king lets this happen. Why aren't we feeding these people?
Because it doesn't directly impact him. So he doesn't care.
Exactly. When Chaol sees Aedion fight for the first time, so Wren has stumbled upon them. He's bleeding. He's being chased by secret guards. Chaol takes Wren to hide. Aedion fights. It's very reminiscent of Celaena. Quote, "Chaol marveled at Aedion's skill, the speed and swiftness and utter confidence that made it like watching a brutal, unforgiving dance." It's a beautiful callback to Chaol and Celaena fighting for the first time in Throne of Glass. We've had a couple of references to fighting being like dancing. So I love that SJM incorporated it here as well with Aedion. What I also like about this is even Chaol recognizes not only the similarity to Celaena's style, but that Aedion's more impressive, and we know it is because Celaena was limited by her human form. She came close, but she was not quite as good as Aedion in this moment, and it makes you wonder, will she be even greater now that she is in her Fae form?
Okay, so I'm going to derail this. You're talking about like Chaol just kind of like having zero empathy. Who is Chaol? Chaol is the captain of the guard. The guards are there to protect the city. Instead, he looks at this and he is just absolutely disgusted what's happening in the city that he should be protecting, right? And that is so, it pisses me off whenever there's like moments like that, when people who are supposed to be in protector positions or any leadership positions kind of have this like poverty. And it's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? So it reminded me of this woman on TikTok, and she has a soundtrack to a crying baby, and she calls different places of worship and says, "I have a 2-month-old. I ran out of formula. Can you help me with formula?" Doesn't ask for money, just says specifically, "Can you help with formula?" And she calls 32 places of worship. I think only 6 were willing to give her anything. And the majority of them were Islamic or predominantly Black churches were the ones that offered. Baptists, LDS, other places said, no, you don't practice here.
Yeah, it's very much those who are very community oriented, Islamic, Black churches, very much about the whole. Yeah, that's sad.
There was one old man in an small Appalachia church, and he was like, "I will use my own money. Tell me where you are." Yeah. I can't even watch all of them because like it hurts too much, even with everything, like whatever they say or don't say, like all of it. The Islamic one was like only asked 2 questions, and that was, how far are you and what kind?
The world sucks. We're now in chapter 30, and when Chaol and Aedion help an injured Wren to an opium den, we see another instance of using vice, quote unquote vice, as a disguise. Quote, "Chaol held his breath for the entire walk as he and Aedion gripped the half-conscious Wren between them. the three of them swaying and staggering, looking for all the world like drunkards out for a night of thrills in the slums. Looking like drunks implies overindulgence in alcohol, and it disguises the injury and why they have to help Ren walk, which is a nice little touch. We get a third instance of vice as disguise when Chaol and Aedion are painted with makeup to look like addicts in the opium den to hide from the king's blackguard. I love it, but I also have a problem. And this is why. Aedion, when the secret guard come into their space, Aedion acts like he's high and drunk. Quote, "Wine," Aedion snapped, "a spoiled son of a merchant, perhaps. Now." The men just swore at them and continued on. 5 minutes later, they were gone. So I know that these are unknown guards, but they also work for the king. And if they work for the king of Otterland, how do they not recognize the general and the captain of the guard? Like, all she had to do was, like, they could make a comment of, like, "Oh, so you two had a good night."
All they had to do, like, you're not, this is from Chaol's point of view, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to choose that this is SJM showing how dumb Chaol is and not how dumb we are. I don't know, but you're so right. It is like you don't think you're famous? You don't think that they know what you look like?
Everyone knows Aedion's a partier.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No one, you could still have been there.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's from Chaol's point of view, I'm hoping that we're just kind of like, oh, you are bad at this.
Yeah, you're dumb. Dumb Chaol.
Yeah.
Now, eventually they are reunited with Murtaugh, and Chaol understands for the first time the power of secrets for good. Quote, "Secrets had kept them alive." It's a common theme that we're going to see with the royals and the courtiers of Terrasen, that by keeping secrets, they're able to survive. And, you know, this is interesting. I like this scene because as I thought about it, I think a lot about how readers, including myself, complain about how much Aelin keeps secrets. But when you think about it, the only reason Aelin's alive is because of her secrets.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that her instinct is to keep secrets.
Yeah.
Even from those she trusts.
Yeah.
It's not like she told Sam who she was.
No. She doesn't even tell herself.
No, honestly. Now, Chaol later thinks about Ren, quote, "Had the young lord ever felt safe or at peace at any point in the past 10 years, it would explain that anger, the reckless anger that coursed through all the young, shattered hearts of Terrasen, including Celaena's." I like this because Chaol is learning, again, empathy, but this time not just for Celaena, for Aedion, for Ren, and quite frankly, for Aelin as well.
Mm-hmm.
And because he knows and loves Celaena, he's able to see her in these men who he would normally hate and who have hated him back.
Yep. Murtaugh, he hurts my heart. Quote, "When we were able to take work, we stay in boarding houses. But these days, they ... They would not have access to the Allsbrook coffers," Chaol realized. "Not if they had been in hiding for so many years, but to be homeless." There's just something about old men that I lose it, especially when, and I like Latin old men. And as someone, I am Latina. So if people are like, "Wow, Jack, that's like randomly racist." No, my people. It reminds me of my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I see like someone who reminds me as like my grandpa, who is like valet or something, I crumble. Like it's my grandpa. I can't. No. SJM got me. That's where I crumble. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You put a sad, crying old Latin man in a movie, I will have to, like, I have to walk. I can't do it. It's like, that's my grandpa. Nope. I miss my grandpa.
I know.
Chapter 31, before I start crying. We are now with Manon. Oh, this is such a cute scene. All right, this heals me. So we're with Manon and Toothless, also known as Abraxas, and she's trying to reward him with meat. Yes, we are dealing with a food is power moment here, but I also like the way that she's describing the raw meat. Like, it's very bloody. It's, it's fresh and everything. And it's not so much that the food is reward. It's that like death is also the reward, but he doesn't want that. I mean, he does want death. It's just a different type, but I like that it's not so much food is power. It's like death is power.
Yeah. I have to point out another moment. This whole chapter is lovely, but I have to point out another moment that demonstrates my love for the way SJM writes from Manon's point of view. Quote, If a plant wasn't good for poisoning or healing or keeping her alive if she were starving, she'd never bother to learn its name, especially not wildflowers. As if not bothering to learn the name of flowers makes her a more hardened warrior.
Yeah.
In Manon's mind, flowers equal softness, and Manon rejects anything soft.
No. I have to defend Manon here. If not memorizing names means you're a warrior.
You're so strong, Jac.
I just really relate. Okay, I can't help that you don't have this cutthroat warriorness like me and Manon, like Manon and I. You know, we're a different breed. People who don't remember names.
Yep.
I also just love like the colorfulness, right? Like it's not just flowers. They're colorful. They're purple. They're yellow. They're white. And meanwhile, Manon's wearing a bright red cape.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, if it's not death, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
We also get some more mirroring here. Manon tells Abraxas, you can't really like flowers. Again, those dark eyes shifted to her, blinked once. I most certainly do, he seemed to say. And this is just like Aelin having her silent conversations with Rowan.
Yeah, it's such a good point. Such a good point. Now, Manon, being Manon, cannot admit just how much she's already invested in Abraxas. Or she's really fucking stubborn and has a point to prove. Quote, she half froze to death as she waited for some goats to pass on their treacherous climb. And then, when she'd finally ambushed one, she'd not only rolled in its dung as she'd grappled with it, but it also had dumped a fresh load on her right before it went tumbling out of her arms and broke its skull on the rocks below.
She can't kill a goat peacefully. Like she kills men constantly, but with a goat, she has to wrestle with it.
Yeah. It's funny. And also, we have to recognize that Manon had a choice of just forcing Abraxas to eat the bad meat.
Yeah.
Just like all the witches do with their mounts. However, Manon caters to Abraxas's needs. She is an unreliable narrator in the funniest way possible. And I love it.
Absolutely. But it's because she's so cutthroat. She's so heartless. She's just clearly this intense woman. And it shows, though, how far she's willing to go for those she loves, even when she doesn't admit it.
Yeah, it's a good point. We are reminded of Manon's unreliability again when she takes Abraxas back to the fortress and he doesn't want to go inside. Quote, for some reason, she hadn't been able to stop thinking about his reluctance, the way he'd look at her with a mute plea. She didn't pity him because she pitied nothing, but she couldn't stop thinking about it.
It hurts my heart. Like just, like having to bring him back to this abusive, poisonous home.
Yeah.
We do talk about names, and I do love all the insults that she gives him. She calls him, a willfully lazy worm, and she gets very creative with all the different names that she gives him. Mm-hmm. And, it's just the various different titles, but they're all so endearing every single time. And then you also have this very sweet moment, quote, he tucked his head towards his belly, his tail wrapped around him. He was pretending he couldn't hear her. It like SJM is working so hard to make it impossible to not love him or Manon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one thing we learned at the writing conference is butter. And at the writing workshop, and, adding butter to your scenes, those you might feel like you're going over the top. And as we're isolating these moments, it almost feels a little excessive, right? Like, he's in the flowers. She's having this cartoonish moment, tackling these goats for him. Mm-hmm. He's tucking his head, not really pretending that he's not hearing her. Individually, it might all seem, so ridiculous and cartoonish, but like all together, it is this wonderful buttery moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right. As a reminder, because our breadcrumbs and broomsticks segment is spoilery in nature, it is going to air in a separate episode on Thursday. That is also where we'll discuss listener thoughts and interpretations we've collected from your emails, DMs, and answers to our prompts. So let's dive right into our question of the week.
So I've got a question for you, Amy. And that question is, our protagonists, Chaol, Dorian, and Celaena, are they growing or are they repeating same patterns?
I think it's hard to say with Celaena. I think she's growing, but she's growing into a fae, which she's never really been. Because I think the Aelin we're going to see by the end of the series has mastered her humanity and her faeness. And I think she's moving in the direction of the pendulum towards her fayness right now. So in ways, she is growing finally instead of wallowing, especially when it comes to Nehemia and recognizing Nehemia's role in her own death, as well as the good that Nehemia did.
Mm-hmm. She's the only one that I actually think is progressing.
Yeah.
And not repeating patterns. I mean, maybe I can argue Chaol's not repeating patterns and he's just kind of like thrown in. And I mean, I would argue he's repeating patterns when it comes to like Dorian, and he's not sharing information and he's not withholding, and he's repeating patterns by judgment and not fully able to let go of the king. Dorian is straight up repeating like every pattern that he's ever had. But Celaena is the only one at this point I feel like is truly showing progression.
Yeah.
Or growth opposite of where she was, whether it's good or bad, whatever.
I agree. What I like about this and the lack of Dorian and Chaol's growth is how they required Celaena in their life in order to grow. And now that Celaena is gone, they've robbed themselves of their growth. And
that's good.
For Chaol, his treatment towards Dorian is what he does for the people he loves, not understanding he made a mistake the last time he did this with Celaena.
Mm-hmm.
And so because he hasn't been able to accept his own mistakes in what he's done to Celaena, of course, he's going to repeat it with Dorian. But with the people he doesn't have feelings for, Aedion, Murtaugh, Ren, we're seeing growth. We're seeing empathy, right?
Yeah.
It's only he has a blind spot for those he truly cares about.
I mean, I love that.
What I just said?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Would you like to keep going? You were talking about Dorian.
Yeah, I have something else to say. Dorian has reverted completely because all of the challenges he's been put through has made him feel powerless.
Mm-hmm.
And without Celaena, he's not required to face his powerlessness. And he's able to find power in Sorsha and who he was previously, even though he knows it's going to come at a cost. And that's because he's scared, right? Because of his magic. And instead of growing into his magic, he wants to grow back to the person he was before Celaena.
Incredible. Take a moment, guys. Like, that was fantastic. Clapping for yourself, too. I think even to further your point, Chaol, yes, there's some regression there because Celaena's gone, but because he's still surrounded by Celaena, he's surrounded by her apartment, by Aedion, like his work is still very much involving Celaena versus Dorian is straight up not like there's no Celaena. Not the only time, but one of the times that he mentioned Celaena in these chapters that we didn't read is when he's trying to get himself angry and he's trying to rile himself up so that he can have his magic come in. And one of the angry thoughts he has is about Celaena telling him, you'll always be my enemy. Mm-hmm. He is farther removed from Celaena, who is a grounding force for these two boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jac and Amy. Join us Thursday for our breadcrumbs and broomsticks discussion of today's chapters.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle booktalkforbooktalk. And don't forget to join us by subscribing to the Subtext societyjournal.substack.com to get more insights into the romantasy and romance world. Bye. The holidays throw me off purely because I'm not at work. I lose track of everything.
The number one thing that I lose track of are my nutrients. It is always the first thing to go, which is why I am obsessed with Ritual, especially their essential for women 18 plus.
Their Essential for Women 18 Plus Multi contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day, which means it's gentle on the stomach with a minty essence. And quite frankly, I love that minty essence because there's nothing worse than taking a pill that tastes like crap.
Ritual even conducted a university-led clinical trial for their Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin to assess its efficacy. The results? It increased vitamin D levels by 43%, omega-3 DHA levels by 41% in just 12 weeks.
I honestly need to get my partner on this. She needs both.
We all need it, which is why we have the perfect code for you today.
Our listeners get early access to their Black Friday sale for 40% off your first month at ritual.com/booktalk.
That's ritual.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 40% off your first month. Don't miss out on their best sale this season.
The thing about Los Angeles fall is I need a sweater in the morning. And because I go to work every day, it needs to be stylish.
And Quince has got your back, Amy, because they are able to provide those sweaters and outerwear and everyday essentials that help you feel luxurious, but it's also timeless. And you are a sucker for timeless fashion.
100%. If I invest my money, I don't want to have to spend it again for a long time. That's why I buy their $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters, because they're made not only for the workday, but the everyday.
Honestly, I've been eyeing Quince's Italian wool coats, and I've never had a wool coat. But I think it's time. I think I'm ready to upgrade my life to a wool coat. And it's great because with Quince, the cut feels designer and the quality really rivals high-end brands, but without that insane markup.
That's because they work directly with ethical, top-tier factories, and they skip the middleman to offer prices 50% less than similar brands.
One of my all-time favorite sweaters that I got last year was their boyfriend fit sweater. I keep that in my car because that is my, oh no, I forgot to bring something, favorite sweater that I know I'm going to look good and works with every outfit.
So step into the holiday season with layers made to feel good, look polished, and last from Quince.
Perfect for gifting or keeping for yourself. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. And they're now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/booktalk.